It is 7:45. We'll go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining us for the January 2023 meeting of Joining Forces for Treasure Valley Veterans. Very exciting meeting today, so I'm glad that everyone can join us. We are going to start off with a few introductions. I've got our Chief Administrator, Mark Champel, on the call. Most of you have seen or met him. He was at last month's meeting, but Mark, would you like to introduce a couple of our new IDVS employees?
Sure, thanks, Mitzi. Sorry I'm not, you can't see me. I'm actually driving on my way to the office. Got the kids out of bed a little bit late this morning. But it is a huge pleasure for me to introduce two new people to the Idaho Division of Veteran Services team. The first one is Marisa McCarter, who most of you also know based on her work with a lot of the groups that are represented here. But we want to introduce her as the new Resource Coordinator Assistant, or the Mini Mitzi as we lovingly call her. She has joined our team to basically expand our outreach programs and to help Mitzi do all the great work that Mitzi does. So, you know, super excited to have her, and obviously she's already well known within our veteran community. Secondly, I want to introduce our new director for our cemeteries, our state cemeteries. So we're talking about Boise and Blackfoot. And we'd like to introduce Jake Faulkner as our new director for the cemeteries. And again, a lot of you know Jake. A lot of you have worked with Jake before in his previous role within the VA. And we're super excited to have him on board. His actual official start date is until next Tuesday, but he's been making the rounds, saying hi to everybody, and introducing himself. And we're super excited to have him on board. That position's pretty much been mostly vacant for the most part for about 6 months now, 7 months now. So we're extremely happy to have him on board and to get him started. So really excited about how our Division of Veteran Services team as a whole is shaping up and the things that we're going to be able to do going forward into this new year. So thanks. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Great. Thanks a lot, Mark. We'll hear from Marisa here just shortly, but Jake, do you want to say hello and just tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure. Thank you, Mitzi, and thank you, Mark. So Jake Faulkner, excuse me, I've been working with the VA for a little over 4.5 years. Gotten to work with Mitzi quite a bit. I come from a background, I think Mark said it best the other day, I'm a recovering law enforcement officer. Spent some time in the military and the Navy, and then got out and did some law enforcement with both state and federal law enforcement agencies. And then I kind of danced around a little bit with the oil field and learned some different lean projects and stuff like that. And then came to Boise, worked with the VA, and I got really lucky getting into voluntary service at the same time as Tammy, and we changed the whole office. Those of you that worked with us have seen the growth of the office, and really excited for the next opportunity. And thank you.
Okay. Well, we're very excited to have you, and we are glad that you're going to be on the IDVS team, but I am very sad that I don't have a direct line over at the VA Medical Center. I know Tammy will take my calls, but I had you on speed dial, so.
It'll still work out. I'm still
okay. Sounds good. Okay. Well, we are very excited today to announce that we have developed a digital resource guide. It's a project that's been in the works for about a year now, and something that's been very requested and very needed. And the final product is beyond our dreams, but I am going to turn it over to Dave Fisher. He's the executive director with Idaho Veterans Network, and they have been an integral part of this. And Dave, welcome this morning.
Thank you, and good morning, everybody. I guess I'll start this off by saying that about a year ago, when I took over the leadership of Idaho Veterans Network, one of the first questions that I asked of Mitzi, kind of knowing that she was the go-to person in the area for all things veteran related, I asked her, is there any kind of a digital repository of organizations that serve the veteran population in Idaho? And she said, no, there really isn't. Apparently there was and still is a printed version of a directory, a resource guide that was put together, but nothing that someone could access electronically. And so I asked her to help me put together a committee. And when we did that, it was important that we contemplated doing this as a fully independent effort, not government sponsored, not associated with the VA, not sponsored by IDVS or my organization or anyone else's, but fully independent with complete redundancy so that those who were involved in it could back up each other. And in the event that any one person or organization went away, it would still continue running, and it would be a resource directory and a guide digitally positioned so that any veteran anywhere in our state could search for services according to where they live in their own area. So we set out to build a committee, and different people came together. I don't know if you want to put the slide up on the screen, Mitzi, for the folks that are actually on the committee, but I'd like to introduce them so that you know who they are.
Yes. Just a second here.
There we go.
Can you all see that all right?
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay. So next slide, if you can. And let's stop right here for a second. We actually contemplated, like, what would this be? How would we brand it? And what would the mission be? And this is pretty much what it came to. The branding of this product is called Idaho Veterans Guide. The mission is to help Idaho veterans and their families identify support resources by providing access to a comprehensive and current list of service providers through an easy-to-use web-based platform. That was the goal, and it still is. And throughout everything that we've done in putting this together, that's been the guiding kind of overall mission. Next slide. There we go. So we put together a committee, and in talking to Mitzi, we looked at other folks that we had met who had IT experience. We wanted IDVS to be a part of this, and so Mark Shample got involved right up front. As you know, he's the chief administrator for IDVS, also an Air Force veteran. Mitzi was on the committee. Glenn Fuchs, soldier and family readiness specialist with the National Guard, and he's a Guard veteran. Pam and Randy Williams, I got to know them through meeting Randy at the Warhawk Air Museum at one of our coffee clutches. And he had such a passion for veterans and a desire to serve wherever he could. And his wife, Pam, happens to be a database expert, having worked for Boeing for a number of years. Pam is a veteran parent. Randy's an Air Force veteran. And we got them involved in helping us evaluate the products that were out there and the ability that we might have to actually build a database to make this a reality. Sean Schnichter, also a Marine Corps vet, lent some IT support to us and continues to be a great source for us. He's been involved in IT and database operations for a long time. Happy to have him. And before Marisa McCarter ever joined IDVS, we picked her up because of her website and project management experience. And this was months ago. She is an Air National Guard or Army National Guard veteran, and has been very instrumental in helping us kind of bring this all together and provide some of the back office support, if you will. to make this product look good and work well. So that's the committee that came together. We've been working for months now to evaluate different platforms. And as we did that, we started to consider the fact that we might actually build a database on our own using a product called Wix. And we were actually right at the kind of the cusp of launching that and getting very earnest about building that product when we found Find Help. And Find Help is an organization that had its genesis in healthcare, and then it kind of branched out from healthcare providers to create a huge social care network throughout the nation and in individual states. They are a very robust database that has thousands upon thousands of providers nationwide, and the ability to search them out in lots of different categories. And so when we found that product, when we found that platform, we realized that this could be the platform that could power our guide. And so we partnered with them, and we did that by us applying for a grant. Idaho Veterans Network applied for a grant with IDVS to provide enough funding so that we might be able to pay for the license fees and branding it as Idaho Veterans Guide and creating a website where individuals could go to search for those services that they need, and then have the entire platform be powered by Find Help, so that we could identify all organizations that serve veterans, not just those that are specifically for veterans, which is an important distinction because we could build a directory of organizations throughout Idaho that service Idaho veterans, but there are many more, hundreds more organizations that serve anybody, including veterans. And now we're able to access not only the organizations that you represent, all of you on Joining Forces and many more, but also hundreds of other organizations that provide low or no cost services to anybody, including veterans. So with that money, we got licensed, we started training, and we set out to totally brand this effort as Idaho Veterans Guide. We've been through the training, we've worked on promotional efforts. We're here today to actually introduce this product to you and to ask you to help us build it, because many of your organizations are already part of the Find Help database, and we have access to them through Idaho Veterans Guide, but many more are not registered. And so we're going to ask you to help us over the next couple of months to register your organizations and to help us build out all of the organizations in Idaho that actually are specifically serving veterans, to make sure that you're part of this database. And then going forward, the intent is that we will continue to build and refine that database so that we can provide instant access to anyone, anywhere in the state of Idaho. And that's important because we have a lot of veterans that are out in rural areas throughout the state. Mitzi touches those folks from time to time, and I do too as we move around the state and talk to different agencies and groups. But there are lots of folks that will never be able to get to a meeting, and now they'll be able to get on their computer, they'll be able to log into idahoveteransguide.org and start a search for services and find those services immediately. We're super excited about this. It's a big day, and I hope that you realize the enormity of the opportunity that's before us to pull everyone together and make this happen, make this a reality for us all. So appreciate you being here today. I'm going to turn the time over to Marisa, and she'll lead you through kind of how the product works and introduce it to you.
Thank you, David. Yes, I am Marisa McCarter, and I am thrilled to be a part of Idaho Division of Veterans Services. But truthfully, you guys may know me already. I've been in the community for a very long time, and this is something very near and dear to my heart. So like David said, we've been going through this for months, learning about this platform, really figuring out what it can do for us. And we broke that down to, because it's a lot of information to take all at once, kind of like drinking from a fire hose. We really broke it down to the bare basics and the next steps, how we would like you to go in and find your program, work through the platform, and then what we'll do next month is a follow-up. So we'll have all our questions ready and make you all squared away. But this is the agenda for the day. We just kind of have this here just so in case you have a question, there is a chance we might answer it throughout the presentation, but David's gonna, I'm really excited about this. So I may just start talking and I keep going, and he'll interject and make sure we stop for questions. But do know this is what we're basically gonna go over is why this is needed, you know, the problem we're solving in our community. And as a veteran myself, I definitely know how hard it is to resources, especially if you're scared to talk about it or you don't want to share information. This is an entirely anonymous platform. They can create a profile, but they can remain anonymous and search from the privacy of their own home or any device, which is huge to me.
Hey, Melissa,
building a network. Yes.
I will interject right here that none of us could have imagined that Marisa would wind up working for IDVS at this time. But now, how fortunate we are to have her fully versed in the entire effort that we've been engaged in for months now, and having her be an integral part of just building this thing and helping us work on the background graphics and all of the things that she's put together for us. And now then to have her working at IDVS. So we know that IDVS is a major driver of policy and all things veteran related in our state. And so to have her actually in that organization now and be a part of the team is absolutely huge, along with Mitzi and Mark and others. So thank you for that.
No, thank you so much. And I should point out, me standing here in this position right now, and even standing in front of everybody and saying I am a veteran, is a testament to our veteran support community. Because, you know, again, I went through that hardship, and I went through a lot of struggles that veterans go through. But moving back to our home state, my husband and I were both born and raised here in the Treasure Valley. We were just blown away with the support from our community. And I ended up coming back and getting connected with these resources, thanks to Mitzi, and a lot of organizations probably on this call today. And because of that, you know, I got the help I needed. I filed for my benefits. I finished my degree and made my resume and got this job. So this is huge. Me sitting here is a testament to you guys helping veterans. So, but it also speaks to why this is so important, to make sure that these resources that helped me get in front of other veterans. So thank you, David. So yes, we're also going to go over the benefits to you as an organization, why you would want to join this network and why it's so important. There's a lot of free and valuable information that comes with the Find Help platform that's already being used in the state of Idaho, but we could really use for veterans to support like a cause, helping our veteran community and creating one voice, you know, where we stand up and really make a difference. Then we'll end with what you guys can actually do. We've got some quick I chose to do some screenshots rather than a live tutorial, only so we stick to kind of those bare basics and you don't get excited. Because again, there's so much information and so much I'm excited to share with you. But we want to keep it simple for the start. And then the next.
Just really quick, I'm sorry to interrupt. If anybody has any questions throughout the presentation, if you're not familiar with Teams, in the upper right, under the reactions icon, just click that and click the little raise hand. And we'll keep an eye on that for you because there's a lot of people here. So want to make sure everybody gets their questions answered if there are any.
Thanks, Sean.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yes. And I think there is a chat as well. We have Katie on the call with us, who is actually from Find Help. She's pretty much who I've been learning everything through, Katie and Alan from Find Help. So I'm going to do my best to do this justice and keep it simple. But yes, we will stop for questions, and we have a lot of people here that will help you answer those questions. There we go. There we go. This is the question to what problem are we solving and why is this needed? And we wanted to make 3 major points here. Currently, Mitzi is our funnel. We all know, like, I know they brought me on at the Idaho Division of Veterans Services to start helping her do everything she does. And I'm already blown away with just the amount of people that reach out to her for individual requests and organizations that want to get information in front of people. So that's a lot for one person to manage. So I really feel like we needed a way to take everything inside Mitzi's mind and get it in front of people in a way that they could easily navigate. Data is also needed on what veterans are looking for in our community so we can better serve their needs. Again, that speaks to that one voice. What are veterans actually looking for so we know where to focus our energy? And veterans need a one-stop shop for all programs and resources to search with dignity and ease. And you'll hear me say that a lot. That's a find help thing. Part of their mantra is to help people connect to resources with dignity and ease. And again, we'd also like to add anonymously to that, because that's a big thing for veterans. They may be afraid to ask for help. They can do so without creating a profile, without divulging their personal information. And that is a definite need in our community. I've reached resources personally before, and can be very intrusive for the initial work through. And that's a deterrent that we need to work around, a barrier that we need to break down to get resources in front of our local community of veterans. So we broke this down into phases. Phase 1 was that hard fought, what platform do we use, and creating and establishing it. And yes, I can't believe that we thought we were going to create this on our own, because we did want to reach all veterans on all levels. And while we started to build the database, we realized searching that was it was a lot. It was a lot to build out and a lot of connections to make. And when we found Find Help, it was truly like the stars had aligned. I've worked on a lot of projects now, and I can tell you this has been one of the most, this is too good to be true projects I've been on, because it was so perfect the way they could search anonymously and they could tailor their personal filters, which I'll show you in a second. So really, once we found the Find Help platform, it was about creating our mission statement, making sure that we as a committee stayed true to the problem we were solving and our mission statement and what our goal was. And of course, creating our marketing packet, this neat little logo that you see up here, and the font we'd use and the verbiage we'd use to make sure that we're speaking our local community's language. So that was really the long, hard fought process of phase 1. Now we're at phase 2, where we're actually building that network. And that's so important before we go to phase 3, because we don't want to take this to veterans or start pushing it out to veterans before we do have our network established. We want them to be able to join and get right to the resources they need. So that's where we're really going to reach out to help from you. And that's what we're going to mainly discuss today, as this is what we're launching. So that brings us to the benefits of the organization, to you as a veteran support that may have a veteran support program. These are just a few of the many benefits. Again, I am going bare bones here. There is an entire platform there where you can communicate and create scheduling. I'm not going to get too far into the weeds with that today. These are the basics of this platform, and you can control what information users and organizations see when they find your program card. You'll see that in a second, but the important thing is a lot of you may find your program already exists on this network. It is an open network, which I absolutely love. This, you can access it from any state, anywhere. They have what's called a no wrong door policy, meaning this is a nationwide database and anybody can access it from anywhere. So if someone lives here, but their child lives in Utah, they can still search for resources here, and they can even search for their own resources through our platform in Utah. That's the beauty of this giant open network. But what's important is that you know your information's already out there. You should control what people are seeing and what information is available. That also keeps it up to date for the people using your information. You get to get and give referrals on the largest service guide database for free. There is a way to create a profile and get and give referrals, meaning if you can't help that veteran, but you know someone who can, you can give a referral to them. But if someone else wants to refer someone to your organization, they can absolutely do that through this platform. And we can better track our veterans also to make sure they're not falling between the cracks. You can use a platform compliant with privacy regulations, HIPAA, FERPA, HITRUST. That's huge in my opinion. You know, I was a medic in the military. I know how important these things are. Again, that searching anonymously, it's just one thing you don't have to worry about. When you go through Find Help and you go through the training and you understand how to use this platform and start utilizing IdahoVeteransGuide.org, it's just one less thing you have to worry about. You get to community impact reports for your organization program to justify or gain support. This is the big one for me, and the data that's going to be so important, not only on an organizational level, what programs do you have and are they impacting our community? We get to see that as a state for the entire state of Idaho. What is your organization doing? What over the entire state are veterans looking for, and where are they having the greatest help and resources and response? And finally, you get to be a part of a trusted network with the ability to earn badges and certificates. So this is basically a search engine. So you have the ability for optimization. You can move higher up on the list if, say, you are responding and that is noted through the referral system. Or if you go through the Find Help training and you get certified saying, I know how to update my information and take care of veterans on this network. So that's another great part about this, is there is reasons why this is beneficial to your organization. So I'll pause there. See, I remembered, David. And just open up for any quick questions. I will be showing a little bit more what those cards look like and everything, but just want to make sure you guys understand this page.
Marisa, this might be a good time for us to introduce Katie Morgan and let her just tell us a little bit about herself and her work with our committee.
That would be great.
Hi,
Katie,
everyone. I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect. Hi, everyone. It is a pleasure to be here today. I am actually not in Idaho. I am down in Texas, where it's a bit warmer. You'll notice I'm wearing short sleeves because it's quite a bit warmer based on what I'm hearing from my Idaho friends up there. With that, I have been with Find Help for several years. It has been an honor to work on this project and so much fun to work with this project team. I will be helping support organizations getting on board, along with a few other team members that you'll meet relatively soon. One other thing I wanted to mention is that the beauty of this is we truly want to make sure that it is a fit for the Idaho veterans community. Dave and Marisa and so many others as part of the project team have done a really fantastic job in making sure that this fits your community. And so we're all ears on how we can continue supporting your community through this platform. Ultimately, it is a search engine for different programs that support your community. One other thing, I put this in the chat, but I wanted to share as well. These benefits that you see on your screen today, they are at no cost to the organizations that utilize our site, and we also do not require any contracts. So want to be very clear about that as well. That's generally the first question I get when someone sees all of these benefits. Really looking forward to continue to working with you all. And then I will also be sharing my contact information after today's call if anyone has more questions about the Find Help platform or anything else that you are interested in. With that, I'll turn it back over to Dave and Marisa.
Thanks, Katie. Go ahead, Marisa.
Awesome, thank you. And yes, that was a big part of why we also established the IdahoVeteransGuide.org, rather than just going and creating another Find Help portal. We wanted this to, again, be through the committee. And a lot of organizations might locally, on a local level, find they struggle with it, they're not familiar with it. That's why we're here. We're here to help you and make sure that we know you're a valuable resource to our veterans. We've seen what you can do in our community. We want to make sure that you get in front of the veterans that are seeking your help. So yes, and I am Katie's been wonderful in all of this and helping me understand everything that's coming out of me is pretty much what I've learned from them in the past few months. So thank you for that, Katie. So this is some of that valuable information that we were talking about. And like I said, this network already exists in the state of Idaho. There's a lot of organizations already using it and using this information to create programs, fund programs, and really justify support. So this is just a quick snapshot of of that kind of information that will come in that we can find so valuable. What I really wanted to point out here is a lot of you know that I am very supportive of suicide prevention, and I'm very involved in that, but I oftentimes don't talk about it. That's because I see that we have to get to the root cause oftentimes. So here, you know, if I'm seeing veterans are searching for housing, I'm really going to focus my energy there, because if I can get a roof over a veteran's head, I am doing suicide prevention. I am supporting mental health in our community. And I do feel if this kind of information is gathered, we will know where we can make a difference in our veteran community. And that's the most important thing to me, is truly looking at what a veteran's needs are and making sure that our efforts are focused and we can make a difference. So when you go to the IdahoVeteransGuide.org, this is going to be your landing page. And again, everybody can search by zip code. Any zip code can go in there. That's the beauty of the open network. If you're in Idaho and you're familiar with this platform and this is what you're comfortable with using, but you need to look for resources in Florida, do it. Again, it's the beauty of the open network. But as you can see, we have our mission statement there, but the other important thing to note is right below there, we do have the crisis lifeline to make sure that if people are reaching out for resources and they are in a crisis situation, that they do know where they can go. Another thing to point out, I'll be discussing this a little bit further, but down in the lower right-hand corner, you can see suggest programs, claim programs. That's going to be important later on, as that's one of the ways you can claim your program. And then there's also the select language. You can change the language of this platform to anything you need. And again, that's just removing another barrier for anybody in our community, because again, the veteran may not be searching for this. They may not have access to a computer. Maybe it's a family member that needs to utilize this platform. Maybe they don't speak English that well. So again, we're just removing as many barriers and making this as open as possible. So when you type in your zip code, we typed in 83704, you can see there's already 2,154 programs available. That's amazing. And that's why this was like the stars aligned. And we're like, oh my gosh, this already exists. This is so perfect. We just need to tailor it to our veteran community and all these local organizations that we know are supporting our veterans, and we need to get them on there. We already have, I know the Boise Rescue Mission, you're kind of my go-to as learning this, because all their programs are on there and claimed. So that's been kind of a familiar face for me to navigate this system and figure it out and learn what works, what doesn't. From this screen, they have a few ways to search. They can either search by program or organization, or by one of these topics you see along the top. If they're not quite sure how to word it or what they're exactly looking for, these little icons will lead to drop-down menus and more subcategories that they can then go through and narrow their search down, because again, there are so many programs available. I'm gonna go ahead and go to the next page, but I'd like to point out, when a veteran searches for resources, they're not going to be searching by your program, or I'm sorry, by your organization name. They're going to be searching by your program or the services you offer. So that's why Find Help is just brilliant, in that at the top of what is called the card, you will see the program listed first, not the organization. This is also really nice for the larger organizations that have multiple programs. You can have multiple cards, multiple programs listed that have different owners. So in this case, if you're just looking for veteran community resources, we kind of threw David under the bus here and used Idaho Veterans Network as an example. But there's, again, a few things from this slide I want to point out. One is that personal filters icon. When they click on that, I cannot tell you how many filters there are. And that's that thing that we were really focused on, getting all resources in front of veterans, not just veteran specific, but as a veteran, you know, you could also be a student. You could also be a single mom. You could be part of a minority group. You could have a certain income level. This is where you can find all the resources available to you, because truthfully, maybe the veteran resources aren't the most readily available or the best. So that's where that drop-down menu is going to be so wonderful, and we can truly make sure veterans are getting all resources available to them. And then also over here on the right side, you can see income eligibility. A lot of these resources are based on income, which is something you can control as an organization. You can create intake forms on this platform as well, which I won't get into. I know I'm getting excited. but you can really control what filters and searches you show up on to make sure that your programs are getting in front of the appropriate audience. So looking at this card right here, I know that David's gone in and he's claimed his program. Maybe he hasn't got it set up yet, but he's claimed it and he's working on it. And I know that this information is going to be up to date. I know that because of this little check mark over here in the corner. When I hover over it, it tells me this program has been claimed. That's why I would love for everybody on this call to go on and see at the end of this if their program's listed, if they can suggest it, if it's not, and claim it if it is. And I will go over how to do that in just a second. But I just wanted to pause here because there is a lot on this page. It's something I would like you to go explore. But do you guys have any general questions on this? Or Katie, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Marisa, you're giving me a run for my money. That's what I'll say. You are doing absolutely fantastic.
Thank you. That means so much.
I'll just mention when we came across this platform, I started going in, and a lot of the programs and organizations that I use on a regular basis, probably 80% of them are already in this system. The ones that aren't, we can add. And to me, that was one of the most exciting things is it was already at my fingertips. I've been using it even for the things that I already access. I've been going on again because the information is so up to date. And if I needed the address, I drive to that location all the time, but the address is readily available here and things. So, but go right ahead.
Thank you, guys. So we've been talking about the programs. These are the 3 different ways you can claim those programs if it's already listed. And again, if you don't, you can also go through and suggest it. They'll just still have you do a search to make sure it doesn't already exist. And then you'll just go through that process. So you can see, you can go to idahoveteransguide.org/claims, or if you click on one of those cards after you search for your programs, it will take you to this dynamic window where all the information is listed for that organization. If it's not claimed, you'll see that neat little kind of washed out thing there that says, do you work here? Manage your claim or manage your listing. Again, that's a way to claim your program and manage all the content that's listed there. And then again, down in that lower right-hand corner, anywhere on idahoveteransguide.org, you will see claim programs down in the lower right-hand corner. So when you click on those, it will take you to a page like this. And I won't go too deep into this again, because it's a lot of information all at once. But this is where you'll type in that program, or this is where you can search by your organization, since you do know what your organization is. And you do not have to have a zip code, but you can if you know what's listed. And you will see a list of all the programs that are similar to that. Next to it, just on the right-hand side, will be a claim this program option. It is a process. I will say, if you have an email that is directly associated with your website, it speeds up the claim program or the claim process. It does take 1 to 2 days. If for any reason you have a hard time suggesting your program or claiming your program through the Find Help team, which again is phenomenal because that would be a huge undertaking for us to go through and set up the system, it's already in place. They already have a system to go through so that if someone tries to claim your program, they vet that person and make sure that is a legitimate claim. And that's why it takes time, and why you may need to come to Mitzi and I if you have any trouble, or support at idahoveteransguide.org. So with that, do you have any questions there? Anything you'd like to add? Perfect. All right, so this really gets us into our next steps of what we'd love to see you guys do, is go to idahoveteransguide.org. I'm sure maybe some of you on this call are already on there playing around with it. but do try to look up your program and see what's listed, see how it's listed. I know there's a few organizations that I would love to see listed on there, and there's a chance you already are or will be, because we're going to be referring people to you. As veterans seek help, this is definitely going to be something Mitzi and I utilize more often to track where we are sending veterans. As it's entirely free, I highly encourage you to go claim that program and control the content that's being displayed to the people we send to you. But you can use it as much or as little as you want. They've made it a very versatile platform in that if you already have a way of that your system works and this is just going to be another issue on your plate or something to deal with, that's okay. We'll still be referring veterans to you through this platform, but we can do the follow-up on our end. However, if you claim your program and you do participate with us, you get to control how we finalize that referral ticket, so to speak. If we send a veteran to you and we do a follow-up and you did great, we're going to write, you did great. They followed up. It's closed. We're good to go. But if you're a part of this network, you can control that and tell us how you followed up. Help us understand, like how this worked out and create more of that incentive to be a part of this network and be a part of that search engine. So hopefully that wasn't too much information. I'm trying to withhold a little bit. We will go over more on the next Joining Forces meeting in February, so that hopefully you get a chance to go and look online and find these programs, find your programs, claim your programs, and go through the processes. So I'll just open it back up to David and Mitzi.
Actually, Marisa, can I say one thing real quick? And it's kind of popping up in the chat. And I just want to share that my personal experience when I open up the website on my phone, the first thing that pops up is a little error message with a robot. And if you just wait like an additional like 4 or 5 seconds, that like goes away and it connects you to the website. So I'm assuming people are experiencing a similar issue. And Katie with Find Help, I'm not sure if that's something we can get rid of or not, because again, it says, oops, something went wrong, but then 3-4 seconds later, it actually connects to the website. So give it just a little bit of time. It'll probably redirect to the actual website, and we'll continue to work on our end to try and figure out why that's popping up. Not saying that some of you aren't being blocked. That could very well be the case depending on where you're accessing the website from. But I know for me personally, it had that error message, but then it went away after about 4 or 5 seconds and connected me.
Now, one of the things I want to mention is because we've done our own landing page, Idaho Veterans Guide, we've got all the resources that are already in there. You can go in and claim your programs, but if you are not in there at all yet, or your program doesn't meet maybe what Find Help's normal standards are, we can still approve many programs through our portal, the Idaho Veterans Guide. And I think one of the most important things that I've realized as I've been traveling around the state, you could go in here and maybe the VFW or the American Legion is going to come up as a national organization. But I want a veteran, if they're sitting in Wilder, Idaho, and they type in their zip code there, I want the local VFW post out there to come up, because that is a social organization. They offer financial assistance, everything that a veteran's looking for in their backyard. Things like that are not already in there. So we're going to help everybody get their individual programs in there. But we want every veteran to be able to find resources right in their community. Do you have anything you wanted to add, Dave?
Just a couple things. This is super exciting for us because as we've worked with the product and partnered with Find Help to make this possible, we've realized that what we now have is the access, right, to the services that are out there. And when all of you register your organizations and claim your organizations, and make sure that your data is up to date and so forth. We'll now have a consolidated directory and guide for any veteran to access to get to your organization. Secondly, it's free, and it's not only free, but it's free from advertising and marketing and all of that other crap that goes on virtually every website that you might access. When somebody gets onto Idaho Veterans Guide and starts searching, they will never see a pop-up ad ever. Their information will be completely private and anonymous. It will not be tracked by VA. It will not be tracked by IDVS or any other government agency. So the intent, again, is for this information to be secure, for it to be completely independent and independently hosted. This website is independently hosted. It's not part of IVN or IDVS or anybody else. It's out there by itself, being managed by a consortium of individuals and agencies that can work together to make sure that this has a long and healthy life. So we're really excited about it. We just urge you to get on and play with it. You probably don't even know what questions to ask at this point, but trust me, in a month you will. And so we're going to come back to the next meeting in February and spend a lot of time working on this with you and following up on your questions and observations. But we hope you see the benefit in it, and we look forward to working with you to build it and make it as robust as it possibly can be in the state of Idaho.
And I want everybody to know that that is how important this is to us. Our February meeting will be dedicated to just training on this platform, answering your questions. We can go in to individual programs and talk a little bit more about the possibilities and things. But you can access it through IdahoVeteransGuide.org. And it's live. You can use this to search for resources and things. We are asking that you don't roll it out to veterans yet. We want to get all of our local resources that I use all the time. We want to make sure that your listings are accurate in there and updated, and things before we move it out to veterans. We're hoping to do that in March, and we'll have quite a campaign, not only social media, press releases, that sort of thing, but we've got cards that we've had printed with QR codes that you can access it, the website, and we'll push those out to your organization so that you can get them out to all of your members and things. So we are here to support. And again, it's not an IDVS project. It's not an Idaho Veterans Network project. It's something that we've all come together on. It just happens to be that Marisa and I are kind of taking the lead on support and things, but I just ended up being lucky enough that she was the one that we hired to be my assistant and things. Gary Randall, you have a question.
I do. When you say program, exactly what do you mean? A particular service that the organization is offering, or does that have a broader meaning?
Do you want to answer that, Marisa?
Sure. So yes, it is the program that the organization is offering. So Mission 43, if I can use you as an example right now, they offer multiple programs. So they wouldn't want to just have one listing, because they have one for education, they have one for entrepreneurs and engagement. So they may have multiple program listings, but they would only be one organization managing all those programs. Again, they did this because a veteran won't know, say, if they are looking for support with education, or they're not going to know to search for Mission 43 or, the guys at BSU. They're not going to know what organization they're looking for. They're going to be looking for those programs or those resources. Another example would be we have very specific names for our organization that may not always reflect our programs. So that's again why they're list those cards by program, so you can have multiple ones but managed by one organization. And they, again, the platform is wonderful. They have a way to create a team under your organization and under these programs that we will get more into in February, because I get all excited about talking about. But I hope that clarifies. Yes, it is just the program that your organization offers. And it can also be services. If you saw on Idaho Veterans Network, that's really the services they provide, is this community resources for veterans. So hopefully that helps specify.
And I think, Gary, your organization is a good example, Military Officers Association. It has lots of benefits to it. You know, the first one that comes to mind is just a socialization organization for military officers. So you could list that as a program of sorts, even though you may not actually have a program name. It's more like a category or something like that. So, and that'll be something we'll work through with each individual organization, because it's going to be different and unique for everybody.
Yes, that helps. Thank you, Mitzi. Thank you, Marisa.
One of the questions in the chat that came up, it says, is there any vetting for the agencies that say that they offer services? And Katie responded, but Katie, do you want to maybe expound on that just a bit?
Yes, of course. Great question. Another very common question that comes up. We have a few different ways that we ensure that our programs are kept up to date. First is we have an in-house curation team down in Austin whose day-to-day role within the company is to ensure our program information is up to date. The way that they do that is they are checking in with the programs listed on our site to confirm that the services they offer are correct, our hours are correct, the best way to reach out to them listed on the site is correct. There's also a way, and we'll show you this in February's training, for if I'm within a community and I know that there is an update to a program's hours or the different services that they have listed, I can submit that through the Find Help site for curation team to get their eyes on very quickly. So that way they can follow up and make that update as soon as possible. Our turnaround time for those user submitted suggestions is 48 hours, in which the curation team or curation team member will follow up with that suggestion, ensure that it is correct with the organization, and then get it updated, or let whoever submitted that suggestion know about the update, whether or not it was made, and if it wasn't made, here's the reason why we weren't able to update it, such as we confirmed with the organization that their hours are actually the same hours. So there's a few different ways that we go about making sure that this information is correct. I'm going to put a link to a very, very short video that dives in more deeply about ways that we keep that program information up to date, because that information is so important to make sure it's a usable platform. So I'll pause there before I continue my ramblings. Happy to answer any additional questions.
Well, and I think another thing that as veteran service organizations that we're very concerned about is sometimes there's some bad players out there, people that maybe don't have a veteran's best interest at heart. And that is why all of you have come to trust me. Is I deal with these organizations all the time, and I have personal contacts in them. And so when I refer somebody to an organization, I've got full confidence, and that gives you the full confidence in them. With this platform, because it's an open network, any organization can be listed, but through IdahoVeteransGuide.org, accessing it through that platform, we can make referrals. So what Marisa and I are going to start doing, instead of just if we even just talk to somebody on the phone, instead of just making that phone contact, we are going to refer it through the Idaho Veterans Guide portal, and then that will keep track of the organizations that are being recommended, and then they will also move up higher on the search through the Idaho Veterans Guide. So those of you that are trusted organizations that are used through joining forces, hopefully you will be receiving even more referrals, because not only through the Idaho Division of Veteran Services will we be referring you, but your listing's going to come up higher. So is that explain things as far as the vetting process? You know, something else too that I've always been very adamant about, a lot of times there are multiple agencies doing the same job, and in our community sometimes somebody will say, I'm already doing that, and now this new organization's coming in wanting to do the same thing. But I've always been supportive of that, because everybody is going to have different needs. There are different personalities. There may be somebody that an organization, because of personality conflicts, has just not been able to help. They use another organization that offers the exact same services, and things click, and that veteran moves forward and things. And so again, that's what's great about this being an open network. Sheila Warner, you have a question?
I do, yes. Good morning. My question's actually for Katie. So Katie, I'm with the American Red Cross, and we actually use the same platform for our hero care. And it's awesome. I love it. I'm so excited that that you guys are going to be using it, because I've done casework for a long time. This is the easiest thing to use to find information. So Katie, my question is, will this resource also be on the American Red Cross's resource? Do I need to add it in? Like, can I, if I want to refer somebody to it through the Red Cross, will it be accessible for me to do that?
Yes, and so what Sheila is talking about, for those who are just learning about Find Help, we work with a number of other customers. We love working with the American Heart Association, so happy that you're here. So then we update our network with a new program, with an updated program, for instance, that is reflected across all of our other customer sites. And so that is the beauty. That is the reason that Idaho, I believe it was over 2,500 programs in Boise. Those are based on not only our existing work within the state, but all of our other customers adding the programs that they utilize on a regular basis. And so, yes, Sheila, it will affect your website, and it'll impact all of the other websites that are part of Find Help. There's a number of health systems that we work with within Idaho. There's a number of other groups that we work with within Idaho as well, and they will also have access to all of your incredible veteran services as we're updating these program information.
Oh, this is so great. So excited. Thank you.
I'm glad.
Well, it's wonderful actually to hear, Sheila, an endorsement, of the platform, because you in your organization have got to be accessing that all the time, right? Yeah. And so to know that you love using it, it's easy to use. That's a great endorsement. So thank you for that.
Okay, now I do want, oh, go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, by the way, if anybody's wondering why I led this thing off, it's because immediately when we pulled our committee together, I was thrown under the bus and I somehow cajoled into being the chairman of this committee. So I've been the chairman of this committee for a number of months now, and that's why I'm leading off on it. It has nothing to do with IVN or anything else, but we're just excited about the work that's gone into this, the partnership that we have with Katie and Find Help, and the promise that we have now of just bringing this all together to fruition. So now it's up to you, all of you, to get your organizations registered, play with the product, go look at the categories, search for services, and then come back to us with your comments, or email us through the support email at idahoveteransguide.org, and we'll give you all the help that we can give you to make this happen.
The other thing that I want to say, because I'm always frank and honest with you guys, you may get on there, go to claim your program, make changes. You may get a little frustrated. I'm at that age myself where I'm pretty tech savvy, but sometimes when I get on with new programs and things, I do get frustrated. Don't let that deter you. We are here to help, answer any of your questions. And then again, next month's Joining Forces meeting is going to be dedicated the full hour to going over a lot of this, answering your questions, going in and doing some searches to show you the different capabilities. So don't get frustrated, bear with us. I don't think there will be a lot of frustration because it is a fairly easy platform to use, but you know, we're here to help. Mark, would you like to add anything else?
No, just that I think myself, like many of the other people that have already kind of played around with this, it's super exciting. And again, it is a, you know, it's a exponentially growing product because of the organizations that join in and the fact that we aren't excluded from any of the programs that are already in that database. It's all there, and it is impressive. You type in your zip code, you won't believe what will come up. So we're I mean, absolutely excited as far as a vision of like helping veterans with whatever they need help with, and to be able to do that easily and quickly, and to find them local resources. Man, this is it. This is so exciting, and really we're going to depend on everybody within this organization to help spread the word and to get this to become a known website to go to get help. Share it broadly, share it widely, play around with it, become experts yourself so that you can help us help veterans across the state with this new program. But yeah, just super excited about it.
Okay, sounds good. Marisa, do you have anything else you would like to add? You're on mute again.
My computer buttons are slow. I'm sorry. I did just want to say that really is the beauty of the open network and all these and their no wrong door policy is that we are part of this giant network that already exists. And again, I know I said it, but it's really important. I know where a lot of veterans are going to be sitting and where they struggle. A lot of us, that's why you saw the word veteran so much on our committee is we all kind of understand where a veteran may be coming from. And this is beautiful, the way we can access this. And this is like a dream come true for me, for veterans to get resources in front of them when they need it most. So I am thrilled. And I will also say, I did go through the Find Help training, and I got my cool little certificate to show that I am trained up in Find Help. There's still a lot more for me to learn, but that is an option. I think Katie shared some of that information with you guys, that you can go. You will see the words Find Help used a lot. Don't get discouraged if you don't get a response or you thought this was Idaho Veterans Guide. It is, and we are here, and we're all just a big team helping get these resources in front of veterans.
And oh, Sean.
Oh, I didn't have anything. I was gonna say I think Marisa and Katie both volunteered to put their cell phone numbers out there for support. So
Yeah, they did. I remember that.
The website, idahoveteransguide.org, and it is live. It can be accessed from anywhere. And then if you have questions, you can email support@idahoveteransguide.org. And Marisa and I and Dave will be monitoring that. So those questions will come directly to us. They won't go to Texas or wherever, but we'll help you work through your issues with local resources right here. Oh, Does anybody have any questions or any comments they would like to make?
This is Jim Neal. Marisa was right, talking about drinking through a fire hose, but I can just think of right now half a dozen veterans that could easily use this, and for their individual needs, without trying to, for me to try to remember Mitzi's phone number or her email address or something like that. I work with a lot of veterans and with these types of things, and God, it's like a dream come true instead of trying to keep my notebook up to date and stuff like that. It's really great.
Great, I appreciate that, Jim.
Jim, you're absolutely right. You've just essentially taken a monkey off of Mitzi's back, one that's been crawling around on her for a long time. But the other thing is, all of these folks who access the information that's available to them now will be able to sort through any service that they're looking for, and none of us will have to carry around a notepad or a bunch of files in our computers or phones trying to remember where to send people. We just send them there. Just send them to IdahoVeteransGuide.org, and they will find what they need, and then we can help vet those organizations and get everybody set up so that their best foot is forward, and then track the data. And that, back to Mitzi's comment before about why use IdahoVeteransGuide.org. If we use that portal, we will be able to track the data that on the usage of the portal and all the services that are being accessed, so that we can discover what are the most requested services, what are people searching for most often, and then tailor our programs to better serve those needs. So that's part of the beauty of it, is that we now have the reporting back capability and the ability to tailor our services to meet the needs of our vets. So,
I was surprised on the stats that for the Treasure Valley area, let's say Boise, I think that 40% of the searches that have taken place through Find Help have been for food assistance. Now, that's not something that I get very many requests for, and it'll be interesting to see using the access through IdahoVeteransGuide.org if that still ends up being one of the top priorities. But I know that there's a lot of organizations like Jake's office over at the VA, Voluntary Services. They have a food bank over there that most veterans do not know about. But it is available and things. And so the Boise VA Medical Center can list that as a program on the website, food bank and things, so that local veterans can find that. So it's things like that to me that are very exciting. And as always, I am always here available to you. There are unique situations that I email out every day. Yesterday we had the one looking for a Korean war era uniform for a female veteran, because she'd like to be buried in a uniform, and she's in hospice currently. I don't think that that's something that we could find on Find Help, but all of those unique situations are still going to be there. But the everyday things that I end up fielding a lot of calls for can be accessed through here. And just on a note for that, we're still working through that uniform situation, but we did have someone from the Idaho National Guard contact me, and she said that her hobby is sewing, and she's a seamstress, and that she would be willing to make the uniform from scratch. And then Dave and Idaho Veterans Network had stepped up and said that they would be willing to pay for any costs. So if we're not able to locate a uniform, we are going to make one for this veteran. So again, just those stories that happen behind the scenes, but You don't know until you ask, and if you can't find it on Find Help, we're here to solve your problems. So last thing that I do want to mention for any of the organizations that want to participate on Thursday, January 19th, the American Legion, in conjunction with the VFW, is sponsoring the annual legislative reception for our Idaho legislators. It's going to be at the Residence Inn from 5 to 7 in Boise. So if you want to attend on behalf of your organization and talk to our state legislators, that will be on Thursday the 19th. And I think that wraps everything up. Does anybody else have any questions or comments they would like to make? Hey, well, thank you for joining us. This particular video, I'll send out the video so it can be watched again, or you can forward it to others in your organization to watch. And then we will also have a user's guide that we will send out to you. And then next month, we'll spend the time going over everything and getting a little bit more in depth if you have any questions. So we're really looking forward to it. Thank you very much for participating and helping make this dream come true.
Thank you, everyone.